All right, everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Sustainability, Infrastructure and Development Committee meeting on August 12th, 2025. I will now call on Chris Ferreso, Committee Clerk, to conduct the roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Regional Chair Redmond. Councillor Craig.
Present.
Councillor Erb.
Present.
Councillor Foxton.
Present.
Councillor Harris. Councillor Hunick. Chair James.
Present.
Councillor Liggett.
Present.
Councillor McCabe. Councillor Novak. Councillor Rodriguez.
Present.
Councillor Salonen.
Present.
Councillor Shantz.
Present.
Councillor Verbanovich.
Here.
And Councillor Wolf.
Present.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome colleagues back after a little bit of a break. I would like to acknowledge that the land in which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Shinanton peoples. We recognize the enduring presence of the Indigenous peoples on this land, and we honor their historic and ongoing contributions to our community. Let us commit to learning from Indigenous communities to protect the earth and ensure that our actions today support future generations. I'd also like to acknowledge a few important dates this month. On August 1st, 2025 was the Emancipation Day, commemorating slavery abolition of 1834, which came into effect across the British Empire. Emancipation Day celebrates the strength, courage, resilience, and determination of Black communities in Canada and calls upon Canadians to reflect and engage in addressing anti-Black racism and discrimination. The Canadian House of Commons officially designated August 1st as Emancipation Day in 2021 by way of the Honourable Jean Augustine's advocacy to lead the unanimous passing of the motion to officially recognize the day in Canada. August 9th marks the United Nations International Day of the World's Indigenous People, which is intended to promote and protect the rights of the world's Indigenous peoples and to celebrate and highlight the contributions Indigenous people make and continue to make to improving world issues. And lastly, I would like to acknowledge that today is International Youth Day. This day is commemorated every year on August 12th to highlight the challenges young people face, celebrate their contributions to society, and promote their meaningful engagement in building a better future. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none. So we have a statutory public meeting that's going to start our day. Boundary adjustment constituting a proposed annexation of certain lands by the City of Cambridge from the Township of North Dumfries. The purpose of today's public meeting is to receive comments from the community on a proposed municipal boundary restructuring, which constitutes an annexation of certain lands from the Township of North Dumfries by the City of Cambridge. This proposal has been ratified by both area municipalities and now requires regional support before it is sent to the province for approval. Today's public meeting is required under Section 173(3) of the Municipal Act. The notice for this public meeting was advertised in the Record on July 22nd, 2025. The proposed amendment and associated public notice was also posted on the Region of Waterloo's website. The notice delegations will be heard today regarding the restructuring proposal. Anyone in attendance today will be given an opportunity to speak. If you did not register before today, you will receive 3 minutes to speak. Delegations are reminded to give their full name at the beginning of their presentation. Anyone speaking on behalf of a group is asked to please indicate the party they represent. Regional Council will consider this restructuring proposal at the regularly scheduled Sustainability, Infrastructure and Development Committee meeting, which will follow this special public input meeting after consideration of any comments. With that, we'll move to presentations, and we have a staff presentation from Amanda Cutler, Associate Director, Development Services, to give a brief overview of the proposal. Go ahead, Amanda.
Thank you, and good morning, Madam Chair and members of Regional Council. Today's public meeting is regarding the proposed annexation of certain lands by the City of Cambridge from the Township of North Dumfries. The purpose of this meeting is to provide an overview of the proposed annexation, receive feedback from the public and stakeholders, and confirm the next steps in the process. This meeting is part of the formal process outlined in the Municipal Act and will provide details of a proposed annexation of certain lands from the Township of North Dumfries to the City of Cambridge. Annexation is the technical term relating to the transfer of specified lands from one municipality to another. It's also referred to as a boundary adjustment. A joint public meeting was held by the City of Cambridge and Township of North Dumfries in January 2025. Comments received at that meeting were considered by the City and Township as part of their recommendations. Next slide, please. Both the Township of North Dumfries and the City of Cambridge formally endorsed the restructuring proposal and have entered into a boundary adjustment agreement to address the obligations of each party. The region does not need to approve or be a party of that boundary agreement. The proposal does require triple majority approval from Township, City, and Regional Council before it's forwarded on to the province's Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing for their consideration. Next slide, please. And next slide. So there are 3 areas currently in the Township of North Dumfries proposed to become part of the City of Cambridge. They're known as the Westlands, the Southlands, and the Blair and Esther lands. The lands subject to the boundary amendment either abut or straddle the existing township and city municipal boundary. Next slide, please. So the West lands represent approximately 25.5 hectares or 63 acres and are known as Phase 2 of the Westwood subdivision in the Township of North Dumfries. They're located west of Newman Drive, bordering on the municipal boundary with the City of Cambridge. These lands are designated urban area, designated greenfield area, and have been contemplated to be serviced by municipal services when brought into the urban area through the regional official plan process. There are 2 pending draft plans of subdivision with a total of 430 to 656 units proposed that could not advance until the provision of municipal water and wastewater servicing was addressed through either a cross-border servicing agreement or through this boundary adjustment. Matters relating to regional responsibilities, including transportation requirements relating to regional roads, have been identified through the draft approval process and will be requested to be secured through conditions of approval of the future draft plan applications. Next slide, thank you. So the Southlands are located south of the existing City of Cambridge boundary, south of Myers Road, between Franklin Boulevard and Branchton Road. The south boundary aligns with the urban area boundary and include the lands for the future extension of McQueen-Shaver Boulevard, Regional Road 81. The extension for this road is identified as a planned regional road in the regional official plan, which now falls under the jurisdiction of the area municipalities. Future acquisition of these lands for the extension would take place through a separate process, not through this boundary adjustment process. So excluding the lands for the McQueen-Shaver Boulevard road allowance, the area represents approximately 36.9 hectares or 91 acres. These lands were also designated as urban area, designated greenfield, through the approval of Regional Official Plan Amendment 6, with the intention for the lands to be serviced through municipal water and wastewater services. Based on the approved alignment for the future McQueen-Shaver Boulevard, these lands between the existing boundary and the proposed roadway represent a logical extension to the city's existing urban development. Next slide. The third area is referred to as the Blair and Esther lands. And these lands affect 7 residential properties with frontage on Esther Avenue or Blair Road in Cambridge. Portions of these properties also fall within the township boundary, resulting in the property owners receiving 2 property bills and having to deal with 2 municipalities for matters affecting their property. This adjustment results in more efficient administration for the residents and is not expected to have any impact on land use or built form. So in summary, the annexation of the South and West lands represent a logical extension of the city's urban development and allows for provision of municipal services to facilitate this future development. The lands are already designated for urban development and will be serviced by municipal services. Matters relating to regional responsibilities or interests relating to the South and West lands will be addressed through the development approval or other processes. And the boundary adjustment for the Blair and Esther lands address a municipal boundary issue affecting 7 residential properties with no significant land use change anticipated. Next steps. So should regional council support this proposed annexation, The city and township would forward a submission to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, requesting that the minister issue an order implementing the minor restructuring proposal under the Municipal Act. Should the minister's order be effective, depending on the date that the minister orders, finance staff would coordinate with MPAC to update the region's tax rolls accordingly. Otherwise, essentially, once regional council makes a decision, then the next steps fall with the municipalities and the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. So that wraps up the presentation for today. Certainly happy to answer any questions if there are.
Excellent. Thank you, Amanda. I do have a question. Councillor Foxton?
More a comment, if I may. So this all came about back in 2014 when a group of developers had taken the region to court on their official plan. And the developers were insisting upon more land to build upon. And we were heavily into this debate with them. And we were at millions and millions of dollars in legals. And this is the one thing that they came up with that the developers would sign on. And I believe some lands in Kitchener as well, Mayor Bavanovic, that was on that same type of thing to allow the official plan to go forward. I thank Cambridge for their cooperation in dealing with this with us, but we're building a wall and we're not giving away any more land. Thank you.
Okay, I have Councillor Shantz. You have a question for Amanda?
Thank you. I do have a question. I realize boundaries are often kind of arbitrary, but especially looking on the topo map, how did we come up with that particular configuration? It looks sort of random.
Are you referring to all three or the west or south lands? Well, for the westlands, they essentially abut the environmental feature that's there. And as I said earlier, they do align with the urban boundary. Both for the south and westlands, there was some work with the developers through the regional official plan process to determine where the outline of the urban boundary was, and also some history relating to the tribunal in terms of setting that area.
Did it follow property lines or something?
In the westlands case, it essentially follows the environmental constraint.
Right.
The other, I don't believe it follows the property lines exactly.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any further questions. We will now move on to delegations related to the boundary adjustment, and I believe we do have one. Just like to remind the delegation of some guidelines. If you're joining us in person, proceed to the podium when you are called to speak. Please press the button on the base of the microphone to turn it on. If the light is green, the microphone is on. Okay, I will call Dave Ashton to the podium.
Good morning, Chair James and members of committee. Dave Aston with MHBC Planning. I'm here on behalf of the landowners of what was just referenced as the Westlands, Hallman Construction Limited, and Brian and Marianne Dahm. Thanks to Ms. Cutler for her presentation outlining partly a lot of history that's gone into where we are today with regard to the Westlands and consideration of the lands as part of the urban area. Also want to acknowledge the work of City of Cambridge and Township of North Dumfries staff. A lot of work, a lot of effort was put into this. Mr. Calder and Mr. McNeely and staff, and Mayor Leggett and Mayor Foxton as well in their coordinated efforts. It's really been a lot of work to get to today, and it's very much appreciated. As in response to a couple of the comments and maybe the question, working through what was identified as Cambridge West Community or Phase 1 of the Westwood lands, MESP and secondary plan were also prepared, and the Master Environmental Servicing Plan looked at the lands within the urban area as a whole. So in response to how the lines were identified, they were first identified through the regional official plan review, through the identification of the natural features, primarily wetlands, and then an offset for a buffer of 30 meters. And that's what that line is on the west of the Westlands. And these areas were studied as part of that master environmental servicing plan, which further confirmed the limits of that feature. So the lands actually include 2 properties, and it does not follow any specific property boundary. What I can say in response, maybe we're not building a wall, but we are working with RARE on the west side of those lands, where the environmental lands that are just to the west would be conveyed and form part of RARE lands. So that is something that we're looking to do as it relates to addressing the boundary on the west side. So we're looking forward to continuing through the process with municipal staff. In all likelihood, should council approve and the minister approve, the current applications that are with the Township of North Dumfries will find their way and transfer. We have yet to figure that out, but we'll figure out how they'll find their way into the city of Cambridge as part of their approval of a plan of subdivision and zoning bylaw amendment that would allow the continued building of what we see as a very successful community in Cambridge. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I'm seeing no questions. Thank you very much. What we will now do is proceed with any delegations who wish to speak from the floor specific to the boundary adjustment. Is there anyone who wants to speak to this? Okay, seeing none, we will now, where are we here? We need a mover and a seconder for this. Moved by Councillor Foxton, seconded by, oh, it's to adjourn? So we don't need to, okay, all right, we're adjourning? Okay, all right. So moved by Councillor Foxton, seconded by Councillor Liggett, and we will vote in e-scribe. Okay, yeah, the formal, okay, that's where the recommendation is. The recommendation will be in the subsequent meeting after this. Okay, and that carries. Okay, so we will move right into the regular agenda for the Sustainability, Infrastructure, and Development Committee. Okay, we will wait.